Well, dearly beloved people of God, it was the month of May, in the year 2005, and I had just finished the second semester of my second year of my undergraduate degree. And of course, usually at such a juncture, at such a time of year, I would have been settling back into the rhythm of summer life at home, reuniting with all those high school friends, perhaps preparing for summer employment. But not that year. No, I had signed up for a May term cross-cultural class, which would be taking me with professors and classmates all the way to mainland China for the better part of a month. Hence the photo on the front of the bulletin today. Now I have to say, growing up as a white guy, cisgender, Christian, male, in these United States, I rarely felt like an outsider growing up. Right? I mean, sure, almost everyone I knew was better at sports than I was, so I didn't exactly fit in there, but in almost every other part of life, I was the majority. And how shocking it was then to find myself traveling in China, in this part of the world, that summer that allowed me the opportunity to understand life from some wildly different perspective. Which, of course, was the whole point of this study class, and was also one of the main reasons why I had gone to this school in the first place, because they required all undergraduates to take one of these school-sponsored, professor-led, cross-cultural trips in order to figure out what it meant that the world was a wildly more diverse place than many of us had experienced up until that point in our lives. And indeed, it was an instructive experience that opened us to many new ideas, many new challenges, many new changes that were happening beyond the fenced garden of life that we had always known. Which is part of what it seems that Jesus is getting at in the gospel story today. For today's gospel pericope, the section of the Gospel of Luke, it picks right up where we left off last Sunday, even overlaps one verse. As Jesus is now clarifying what all this means, right? That his work in the world is this fulfillment, this incarnation of Isaiah's words that had been proclaimed in the ancient days so many centuries prior, right? That justice was coming from impoverished people. Release was coming to those who were oppressed. Healing would come to those who were sick. And of course, who isn't for these things? Right? These are celebrated ideals. Hearing these proclaimed in the synagogue would have been encouraging, enlightening, maybe inspiring. But when Jesus begins to clarify that this proclamation of divine justice and deliverance is first going to be made known for their neighbors, for foreigners, for others, things turn sour quickly. So much so that those in the synagogue, those in Jesus' own hometown, push him out to that brow where the cliff stands, where their town is built so that they might throw him over and eliminate this threat to their comfort zone, their inner circle, their safe space. Which, of course, we may wag our fingers at, right? In retrospect, we may say, oh, how silly of Jesus' hometown to want to push him off the cliff in response to the sermon he's giving, but how often are we inclined to act similarly when faced with challenges? I mean, after we've built a pretty good life for ourselves and pretty good churches for ourselves and pretty good communities for ourselves, we feel like we're entitled to some sense of control and privileged position when it comes to managing the benefits of these institutions, right? Yet Jesus, in words like these from the gospel today, seems to remind us that just when we feel like we've got it all figured out and we've got the upper hand, when we have all the answers, God will push us beyond our comfort zones and will challenge us to be part of something beyond ourselves for the sake of the lives of others. which is not a comfortable or easy suggestion, of course, and we may indeed bristle a little bit at such an idea, but this is one of the tensions that the gospel holds for those who receive it. For when we inherit the love of God as found in Christ, as testified by the Apostle Paul today, we have an obligation to respond in kind with that sort of love, not by hoarding it, but that we might be part of sharing it, extending that love beyond our own group so that it might do the work that it does, transforming, enlightening, changing. Which is part of what the Apostle Paul, of course, proclaims to this church in Corinth that we hear today. But Paul speaks of it as a uniting force. A force that takes all of our varied gifts that we heard of last week, to speak prophetically, speak in tongues, to serve others, to teach, to all these gifts come together and are channeled through this love that makes something new known in the world. Revealing this God of the Epiphany who continues to work to make things right in our world, even if that means others might get a shot at it first. And of course, like the prophet Jeremiah, when we receive such a call, we may respond like he did, saying, God, I'm sorry I can't do this, I'm too young. Or, I'm sorry, God, I can't do this, I'm too old. Or, I'm sorry, God, I don't have enough resources, we don't have enough people, we don't even know how to make this change in the world that we know is needed. How can we make a difference? To which God responds, no. You will go where I send you, and you shall speak what I command you, for I am with you to deliver you always. And of course, God is with us, and will go with us as we are sent, and will give what is needed along the way, just as God has always done, so that we might be moved beyond our inner circles of comfort for the sake of the lives of others. May such an outward pouring love be continued to be made known in our lives. Here today, at this table, and beyond these walls. Amen.
Amen. Amen.